Hello guys, and welcome back to Getting Started in LabVIEW. In the previous example, we actually look into file I/O operations on part 1 and part 2. Now in this example, part 3, we will be using the examples and concept that we actually learn on how to save values from a table into a text file, and this will also use a simple formatting. Now if you look into our previous text file example that I actually saved in the location part here, we can see that the text file at the moment right now is actually empty, but oftentimes we want to save data as in the form of the table values that you can actually see here. So let's say, for example, if I want to save the value 0, 1, and then 1 and 4, 2 and 9 in the form of 1 tab 4, for example, and then I put into the new line 2 tab 9, for example, in this case. So what if I want to do this using LabVIEW programmatically? So let's try to save this file here. Let's close this. Now what we need to do is we're going to call in the file IO function here, and as you all know that we actually need to create a file, we need to write the file because we are writing from values, and of course we need to close the file as well. Let's do this. Let's say we put this value here, and let's put the API here. Let's call the function here. Let's call the function here. Now we need to create a file path control, so let's do this file path control here. Let's put here, and I already have the value of the text file path here, so I'll just put in here, insert here. Next is connect the file path, set the operation because it's an existing file, so I just need to open it. Next is I need to write the value into the text file. Now we know that from the table control, the constant value usually is 2D array, and oftentimes when you write file text or strings into file, it goes in as a 1D array of string oftentimes. So what we need to do is we need to use the for loop to break each values into 1D array, and we can actually write in here. So to do that, let's do this for loop here. Let's put in the value here, the for loop. We put the function here. Let's move this slightly further to the back so it's much more easier to put in the functions. And next is we put in the constant value 11 because I only want 11 values. And next I need to take this particular function here and drag it down here. So we put the function, put the value here in here. So now we actually have the string values. Next, what we need to do is we need to combine this value for each loop as a single 1D array of string. So this value will actually contain X value, tab, Y values, and then a new line. To do this, we can do this by concatenate strings. We need to concatenate the strings, and we need to put 4 values here. The first value will be the X value on here. The second value will be the tab value, and you can find this in the strings palette here. So let's put here on the second. The third value is the Y values, and the next value is the carriage new line, which is carriage return constant, which is this will actually return a new line. And now we can actually put into the value here. So let's try to run this example. Once I've run this, I can actually go back to my file, and we can see that the values are actually formatted in such a way that it has the X value, tab 1, and then goes to the new line. So this is one way you can actually do this. So okay, what about if you want to put in the table value, the table column header into the text file. Oftentimes when we're doing measurement, we also want to include the column header, like for example X and then tab and then some string here, Y value. And this actually can be done by using the property node. So let's try to use the property node of the table value. So here we can create the property node, call the reference here, and we go to control tab to use the quick drop, and we type in rn as property node. And as you can select down the value, you can actually see here that it actually has the column header string. Now this caller header string here, if you use it directly, it will actually return in the form of a 1D array string. We need to break this and insert the tab and the carriage new return function here. To do that, we will use the index array. In this example, it's actually quite straightforward because we only know that it has two values for columns, which is x value and y value string. So we just need to use two index array in this case. We know that the index array is actually in index 0 and index 1, so we can actually get this value here. Let's move this to make this nice a bit. Next, we need to combine this as one single string. Also, we also need to insert the tab function here, and we have to add a new line here. Add a new line here. Now we have a 1D string. And when it comes to writing the text file, we have to write this value first, and then we use the loop to write in the consequent value for x and y calculation value. So we need to call the write value one time outside the for loop. So let's do this. Write the value here, and done. So in this example, we will actually open the text file, write in the column header value that contains the tab formatting once, and then goes into the for loop to get all the values in the table. So if we run this example and we open back the text file here, now you can see that the text file now contains the column header values for the table, including the values of the calculation that has the formatting here. So this is an example on how we can also use file IO operation combined with the previous knowledge that we learned before this in LabVIEW.